Welcome, everybody. I'm Wade Wepler, CEO and CTO of WWorks, and thanks for taking the time to join us today. We'll be getting on today's webinar workshop focused on how to accelerate your business success. COVID has drastically changed how all of us work. While working with our clients, we realized there could be better ways to use the tools they already had to work from home and remotely. Microsoft Teams has been a key tool in Microsoft's arsenal that can bring teams together and help with engagement in various business processes. As a managed IT services provider, WWorks looked for the right fit to help educate and bring these tools to our clients. We have partnered with the training experts at Competitive Computing Consultants, and they are with us today to continue with another quick webinar in our series that should allow you to walk away with some helpful tips and tricks you can start using immediately. If there are any questions or comments about what you learned today, or you'd like to learn more, please reach out to myself and we can get you connected with any additional training you may need. Thanks again, everybody, and enjoy the webinar.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar that's being presented to you through WWWorks in partnership with Competitive Computing Consultants. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Today, we're going to look at the process of running an effective meeting, from creating our meeting invite to joining the meeting and the different ways that you can do that, as well as accessing the meeting content once the meeting is concluded. My name is Claudia, and I'm the one that's going to walk you through all of the amazing pieces of running an effective meeting. If you have any questions as I move through today's content, please feel free to type your question in the QA pane. We have a fantastic and extremely knowledgeable man named Anthony on the other side of that pane. He's waiting to answer any and all of the questions that you might have. So today's agenda for our webinar, we're going to look at creating your meeting request. There's a few things within there that we want to highlight and point out to you. Then we're going to look at accessing meeting options. So once you've created that request, do you want some people to be able to bypass the lobby, or do you want them to hang out in the lobby until you're ready to let them in? We're going to look at the different join options to get into that meeting space. As you probably know, Outlook and Teams are best friends. So whatever we put in Outlook is going to show up in Teams and vice versa, which gives us a lot of different options when it's time to get into that virtual meeting space. We're also going to show you the new meeting experience and how you can turn that on. We're going to join the meeting that we've created, and we're going to look at some of the in-meeting controls that are available to you when you're running your meeting. We're going to show how you can share content in the virtual meeting space. So we're going to look at desktop sharing, window sharing. We're going to look at presenting a PowerPoint presentation, as well as enabling a whiteboard so you and the attendees can physically draw out information and content. One of the great features of the Teams meetings is we can access an attendee report. That's going to let us know who's come into our meeting space, who's left our meeting space, and if they left and came back in. So we're going to take a look at that attendee report. We're going to talk about concluding your meeting in the new Teams meeting environment. There's two different options for leaving or ending a meeting space. So we're going to look at that. Then we're going to see where we can access meeting information and shared items after the meeting's concluded, and the Meet Now option for ad hoc meetings. So let's dive in. I'm going to open the Teams meeting space here. Now, the first thing we want to do is create our meeting. So let's go and do that now. Now, I do have the option of going to my calendar, and I can select a blank space to open a meeting invitation. You also have the option to use this drop down if you're scheduling a meeting within a channel, which we're going to look at in a moment. So I'm just going to jump back here to my calendar view. And again, I'm just going to either click a blank space here, or I can choose the new meeting button. We're going to give that meeting a title. So let's call this the Blue Moon Project. And maybe this is our kickoff. Now, the next thing it wants me to do is add attendees. Now, this is when I have to decide, am I going to schedule a standard meeting where I'm adding the members individually in this space? Or maybe I want to host this meeting in a channel, which will automatically populate my attendee list for me. Okay, so let's take a look at those two options. If I'm hosting a standard meeting, this one is ideal for meeting with external colleagues and attendees. If they're not part of my team's workspace and part of the channel I would be hosting in, I'll have to add them manually. I'll do that standard meeting. A new entry is going to be created in your chat view, and we're going to look at this a little later, that keeps all of your meeting items together. A channel meeting will automatically include all of the members that are part of that channel. A placeholder is going to be added into their calendar. They're not necessarily required to RSVP. It'll be placed in their calendar for you. All meeting items are going to be kept together within the meeting post in that one individual channel. So let's take a look at what that means and what that looks like. I'm just going to copy this here so I don't have to rewrite it. If anybody has sat in one of my webinars before, they'll probably know I have pretty bad typing. So there were no typos there. I'm going to copy and paste it. So if we're hosting a channel meeting, the meeting will live within that channel, as you can see here. If I click these replies, this is all of the content that was shared in that meeting. So as you can see, someone had typed in just waiting on a few more to join and we will begin. I can see that meeting notes began in the meeting, and I can access them from this placeholder in the posts tab or from a special tab that's automatically created when we open those meeting notes for the first time. If I have started a recording, I can access those recordings from within that channel. Okay, you can also see the trainer was mentioned here. Okay, so that's me, that was mentioned. Okay, and I'm able to access all of the items that may have been attached or shared or discussed in the conversation pane, any meeting notes, as well as any recordings. Now, if I did a standard meeting, I still get everything nice, this nice little meeting package. I still have access to that. I'm just not going to access it from the Teams view. I'm going to access that from my chat view. So you can see I had a meeting earlier today, Yellow Brick Road project. Okay, so I can see when it started. We still have those meeting notes that I can open from either the chat tab or the meeting notes tab that's automatically created when we start it. I can access that recording. I can even see the whiteboard that we started in that meeting. Now, what's great about the Teams meeting space, I'm just going to make that a little smaller. Okay. What's nice about the Teams meeting space here is that once that meeting is concluded, people can still jump in and add additional content on the whiteboard. They can continue to chat, and they can continue to work with the files that were shared. And again, this is available whether it's a standard meeting or in the Teams channel. Okay, so those are your two different options. What we like about hosting in a channel is that we have this constant flow of the meetings happening here. Everything's in one space. I don't have to go to different chat entries. So let's jump back in and create that meeting. Okay, our Blue Moon project. Now I'm going to actually make this a standard meeting. I'm going to invite some external colleagues here. So I'm going to invite Dominic. I'm going to invite Anthony. And I'm going to invite Brenda. Okay, notice how Dominic and Anthony are red, but Brenda is this nice green color here. I don't know if it's as green on your end as it is on mine. Now, what this is telling me is that this proposed time that is automatically input by Teams just as a default, this is telling me both Dominic and Anthony are not available for this meeting. It does give me a suggestion for today. Okay, what I could do is I could take this suggestion from here and it'll automatically update, or I can open my schedule assistant. From here, I can pick a time that would work better. So we are at the end of the day today. Maybe I want to jump into Friday. So notice how when I clicked there, the information in those windows changed. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe choose 10:30 to 11, but I forgot someone very important. I can come here and go add required attendees, and I can add Matthew. Okay, thankfully that time is available for Matthew. We're squeezed in between two other meetings, but he's available. That's fantastic. I can add optional attendees here, or if we had rooms in our global address list, I could also select a room from here. So you can see we have 3 rooms available for my meeting. Now, a very common thing that happens at this stage. We've already picked our time and date. We've already added our attendees. So a lot of people will hit the send button from here before they finish completing the details of their invitation request. If you need to go back to add those details, just hit that details tab to get brought back and to finish creating your meeting invite. Okay, if this was a recurring meeting, so usually kickoffs are not recurring, but let's say this one was, we can come to this drop down and we can choose to have it occur daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. I enjoy the custom recurrence. This is going to allow me to take a little bit more control. So I can actually add an end date here. So maybe these meetings will start on the 24th. And I want them to repeat every single day for that week. Okay, so I can have that. I can also have it weekly, and I can choose Wednesday. Okay, that'll likely only be 1 meeting. So maybe I want to remove this. So there's a lot of flexibility when you're creating your recurring meetings. Okay, that's why I like the custom option there. Now, we did add some folks to our meeting invitation up here, but maybe I do still want to add this to the channel. I do have the option to open the add channel, go through all of my different Teams workspaces, and I can choose that meetings channel if I'd like to host that in the meetings channel. Okay, that means the meeting will be populated in every member's calendar, and these folks will receive an invitation in their inbox as well. I'm just going to remove that for now. Okay. Just like we saw on the scheduling assistant, we can come here and we can select a meeting room as well if we'd like to meet in person. A little more challenging these days, but it is an option there for you. Okay. And now I can add some meeting items here. So I'm going to give an agenda about what we're going to speak about in this meeting and what we can expect from this meeting. So this is a kickoff meeting, team introductions. Maybe we'll do a timeline review. Maybe we'll list some accountabilities and expectations. There will always be at least one typo for me. And there it was. Okay, so once I'm happy with the layout and with what everything looks like, all my inputs are in, I can add a table here or maybe a motivational quote. I can even link some content in if I wanted to. Once I'm happy, I'm going to hit that send button and away my meeting invitation goes. So now that we have sent our meeting invitation, we can actually drop in and we can manage some of the meeting options. So once it's created, I can open the placeholder and I can select this meeting options button, which you probably didn't see earlier. Oh, there it is. Never mind, it was waiting for me. There is another area that you are able to access these meeting options when you are in the live meeting space. So if you forget how to get to it here, do not fear, you can do it in the live meeting. Okay, just approving and improving who I am here. There we go. Oh. So you can select it from here. I'm just going to join this meeting quickly from the Meet tab just to show you it in that secondary location. Organize. So when you do those meeting options, you're going to be brought here to this page that's going to open in your default browser. Now, you can access this through the participant pane as well. When we look at that, when we get to that section, what this allows you to do is determine who can bypass the lobby. And when you join a Teams meeting, I'm sure you're familiar with the process. You get that join now option. If you jump right into the meeting, you are bypassing the lobby. Okay. If you've ever seen that screen that says 1 moment, someone's going to let you in, that means you're waiting in the lobby. So the meeting organizer can control who's got to wait to be let in and who can jump right into the meeting space. Okay. So use this drop down to choose. Can everybody, both inside and outside of my organization, jump right into that meeting space? Or only people in my organization and trusted organizations, people in my organization, people, or do you want to be the only one that jumps into that meeting space without having to be let in? Why would you want to do this? Maybe you want to, share your desktop before letting people in, so when they join the meeting, they have something to do right away. Maybe to organize yourself and let all attendees in at the same time. So there's a few reasons why you may want to have everyone hang out in that virtual lobby space before they join you in the Teams. Okay. I'm going to pop that back to people in my organization. Now, you do also have the option to always let callers bypass the lobby. Okay, you'll just use this toggle. Another option you have, now this option is for people that are phoning into your meeting. It can provide an announcement so that you know who is joining and when they are. This drop-down allows you to determine who can present content within the virtual meeting space. So do you want everybody to have that option? Just people in your organization, people you have specified, or only yourself? Like I said, you do have the option to access this while you're in the meeting as well. So you're not married to this option that you've chosen here. If you start off with everyone and then you want to change it later, then you can always open that up and change it while you're in the meeting space. So now let's look at some of our join options. Just out of the way for you. Okay, I'm just going to close this space. Now you can see one of the join options as soon as you open your calendar. The reason this one has a join button on it is because that meeting would have already started. So any meeting that's about to start within the next 5 minutes, you don't have to open the full placeholder. You can just select the join button right from the placeholder. If we look at tomorrow's meeting, that one I would have to open up, okay, because it's not starting soon, and I would have to locate this join button, or I can use the join link embedded in the meeting. Okay, so whichever one you choose there is completely up to you. Now these are standard meetings here. Okay. I can also jump into my channel meetings from here as well in the same way. But if I am in the channel already, for example, this meetings channel, I could open the invitation to access that join link. I could select the join button, or if that meeting has already begun, I'm going to see a video camera icon here, which is a nice little visual indicator that this meeting has started without me, and I need to hurry up and get in there. Okay. If the meeting has begun as well, this will have a join link right here on the actual item in the post tab so that I don't have to open it up. It's a nice, quick and easy jump in there. Now, while I'm working in other channels, someone can begin a meeting, and if they have, and that meeting is on my calendar and due to start very soon, I'll receive a banner pop up in the bottom right-hand corner. That's going to allow me to join the meeting right from this screen without having to jump to the calendar, without having to jump to the channel. That's going to pop up. I can either click join, or I have the option to send a message to all of the attendees in that meeting. Maybe I'm running a few minutes behind or whatnot, okay? And I'm able to do that right from that banner pop-up that comes up. Now, there is a new meeting experience. Some people have it already, others it's on their way. If you wanted to get the new meeting experience, which we're going to look at in just a moment, okay, I'm just going to show you the steps to turn it on. You're going to navigate to your profile and go to your settings. Notice I've already selected my turn on new meeting experience. If yours is unchecked, you can give it a check. And then there's a couple more steps. You're going to come down and you are going to actually quit Teams and restart it. When you do that, it's going to open the new Teams meeting experience for you. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Now, what's great about the new Teams meeting experience is it is a popped out meeting experience. So that means I can move this around my computer if I'd like. If I have a secondary monitor, I can always put this on the secondary monitor. I can also snap it to share the screen. Okay, so I have a lot of functionality with this. And you're going to see that there's a lot of really great things happening inside this new Teams meeting experience. Now, joining right off the bat, you guys are going to get to see me for just a quick second here. I can toggle my video camera off. Hello, folks. And I can also choose one of these various backgrounds, or I can upload a custom background. I can also manage my default mic and speakers. I'm going to jump into the Join Now experience and let's see if we were put in the lobby. Okay, we were not put in the lobby. We got right into the meeting experience. Now, there's no one in this meeting with me at this time, but I'm going to still be able to show you some of the great things that you can access while you are in this meeting space. The first, it has a nice little clock here, a little counter that lets me know how long I have been in this meeting space for. I also have access to my participants pane. So I can invite these guys in if I wanted some company in here. But as people join the meeting, they'll be displayed here under currently in the meeting. I do have the option to also add someone into this meeting space that may not have been on the actual invitation itself. So I can still bring people in and I can manage my participants. Now, when others are in this space with you, they will have an ellipsis beside their name. So as the meeting organizer, I do have some control. I can, mute specific speakers. I can mute specific if they're speaking too much, or maybe there's a lot of background noise. That happens a lot. We can sometimes mute them. I can allow them to present content by using that ellipsis and allowing them to present. If maybe in my meeting options, I said I was going to be the only one, and then I changed my mind, no problem. We can do that here. When others join you in this workspace as well, there will be an ellipsis up here that lets you access those meeting options. It also allows you to access an attendance report, which is something we're going to talk about in a moment. The conversation pane, I'm just going to make this larger here for you guys. The conversation pane is really great when we are joining from an area that we can't speak out loud, or maybe I just want to add an attachment for the group to see. I can use typed text while in this conversation pane. So we will get started shortly. And I can send that into the meeting space. All of the attendees will be able to see that there. I can create, I can bold items. I still have access to a lot of features. Okay, so for example, I can insert a table in here. Maybe if we wanted to draw something out, that can all be put into the conversation space. Oh, Anthony has joined me. Welcome to the meeting, Anthony. I can also attach items that I want to share within that meeting space. So maybe I wanted to share you know, a PowerPoint presentation, maybe a picture of myself, I can share that right in the, oops, I just clicked my banner. Okay, I can share that right into the meeting space. When we go to access those items later, I can show you exactly where to find them. So I'm going to send this right into the space now. I can see Anthony's actually raised his hand. So I'm just going to jump back into the participants pane because now we have that ellipsis to show you. Thanks for joining, Anthony, to allow us to see this. Okay, so I can see that Anthony's raised his hand. And now once I address his question or concern, he can lower his hand as he just did, or I can use that ellipsis and use the lower hand option. If Anthony's, yeah, there we go. Get that hand down, Anthony. Okay, I can also pin specific users to the top of the chat pane here, sorry, the participant pane here if I needed to. Okay, this is going to keep Anthony in view for me all the time. I can also make him, right now he's got presenter permission. If I wanted to remove that permission, I can select make an attendee. Now, the reason you may want to do that is presenters have the ability to lower people's hands. If you want to make sure that you or the meeting organizers are the only ones that can lower other people's hands, then you would want to make them attendees and not presenters. And as well, if Anthony is being unruly, maybe he keeps putting his hand up too much, I could actually remove that person from the meeting space as well. Okay. So how is Anthony raising his hand? There is this nifty little raise hand button here. I'm just going to close the chat pane. Okay, when the hand is raised, I will get the notification as you saw here, which alerts me to the hand being up. Right now, it's just Anthony and I in this meeting space. However, if I did see, you know, maybe there were 20 of us in the space and we have all of the profiles lined up along the bottom, I will still see that hand where you saw it when Anthony raised it, right beside his name there. So there is that nice yellow visual indicator somebody's hand is raised. Okay, I'm just going to lower my own hand. Now, we do have a lot of different options that we can move through within the Teams environment. So these first ones here, these are pretty standard. Device settings is just going to allow me to manage my audio and video devices. Meeting notes, this is a very important one. So if this is the first time taking meeting notes, I will have to select the take notes option. And it's just getting that tab set up for me. So you see how this opens this new tab. Now, everybody in the meeting has the ability to collaborate on the notes and access the notes from the meeting. So traditionally, one person in a traditional meeting where we were all face-to-face, one person would capture all the meeting minutes and socialize them later. This is a great time-saving tool, and it means everybody has quick and easy access. There are no meeting minute treasure hunts that have to happen. You know, when did they send those meeting minutes? What's in those meeting minutes? It's all right here, quick and easy to get to. I'm just going to jump back with my Alt tab. Okay. Meeting details. This pane is going to allow me to access all of the meeting information as well as a join link and a dial-in number. I'm currently in Gallery. This is going to allow me to see up to 9 others in the space with me. Notice grayed out below, it is still in preview mode. Grayed out below, we have the preview for large gallery. This is going to allow me to view up to 49 different participants in the meeting space at once. Each user is going to be in its individual box as we normally see. It's what we're used to. Okay, that's the large gallery. But right below that, you can actually see together mode. Together mode is going to cut all of the people out of their individual boxes, and it's going to place them in an auditorium together, and they will all be facing you. What's really great about Together Mode and bringing all of the icons nice and close together, you can actually visualize and see people's facial expressions. You can also you can also see their body language while you are presenting your content. It really gives you that feeling of being in the same room together. Focus is another option, which will just make your screen bigger so that you can focus in on the parts that are important to you. So all of the participant windows will be removed. All distractions will be minimized if you select that focus option. Below that, you see Call Me. This is going to allow you to input your phone number, and that's going to allow you to access the meeting audio from a phone, so maybe from your mobile device, while you're watching the meeting from the computer. Okay, so this is essentially transferring the audio out of your laptop or computer and allowing you to access the audio from a phone. Below that, we have the apply background effects. So again, like we saw, we have access to all of those preloaded backgrounds. Preloaded backgrounds are so important to not just protect the privacy of others physically, but also maybe you're working back to back, maybe you share a home office space with someone and their computer is visible by your camera. By applying a background effect or even blurring your background, you're really adding that extra layer of security. Turn on live captions. This is a favorite of mine. I really do enjoy turning on the captions. What it does, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, it's going to start to transcribe everything that I'm saying to you right now. Not translate, transcribe. Oh, it's Anthony. Okay, so this is really great when you have members of the meeting that might be hearing impaired. This option allows them to follow along. So it really does make your meeting space a lot more inclusive. Just going to turn that off. Now, the start recording option is great as well. I can begin to record this meeting. When I do record, I will receive this banner that lets me know recording has started, but I'll also have this red indicator in the top left. Now, you do have to let everyone know that they are being recorded. So not only do you see this banner, but the participants on the other end will see that recording has begun, and they will be able to see that it was you that has begun that recording. Okay. Now, these recordings, once they are concluded, they are all saved to the Stream application, and they are made available, as we saw earlier, either in the channel that you're hosting in or that chat entry. The great thing about having these backed by Stream is you can then go into Stream and get a transcript of the meeting if you needed to. So we can look at that if we have some time later, but you would open the Stream application and go into My Content and then Meetings, and you'll see all of your recorded meetings there. And to stop recording, I just have to hit stop recording. A dial pad is available if you did encounter an IVR system, or if you needed to use physical inputs here or dial an outside number while you're in the meeting space, you do have access to that keypad. Turn off incoming video. Now, this is an interesting one that a lot of people are like, I don't know what that means. How does that help me? What turn off incoming video does is it's going to block all videos that are being presented to you. So when the participants have their cameras enabled, you have the ability to turn off the incoming video so it doesn't display to you. And we do have our video that we can enable or disable at different parts of the meeting if we'd like. We can also mute and unmute our microphone. Now we'll look at desktop sharing. Now, desktop sharing is interesting. You do have a few different options laid out for you, as you see popping up on the bottom of my screen. I have the ability to share my desktop, a very specific window, a PowerPoint presentation, or this is where I can engage my whiteboard. If I would like to have the audio from my computer transmitted through the meeting space, I'm going to use this toggle. So if I'm sharing a video or anything that has audio in it, I'm going to want to include that computer sound so that my participants can hear it. Okay, so just make sure that if your presentation does include the audio from your computer, you're using that toggle. Now, if the item that you're looking to present is not available here, we have the browse option as well. So you're able to share any items that are saved, not just to your computer, but to my favorite cloud storage, OneDrive. So what is the difference between these 4 items? Sharing your desktop means everything open on your desktop can be visible to the audience. Sharing your desktop is great when you do have to move seamlessly between different items, as I'm doing here. Okay, so this really allows me to just, Alt tab and open up new content. The issue is that we sometimes may open an item that has sensitive or confidential information. So what you would have to do before you share your desktop, please make sure that you are reviewing what is open on your screen and closing anything that you don't want your audience to see if you're going to share your desktop. If you don't need to move quickly between different open applications, we always recommend sharing a window instead. If you share a window, it doesn't matter what other items are open on your desktop. Even when you Alt tab to get to them, your viewers will still see just that window that you chose to have presented. Okay. And then PowerPoint is another option. This allows you, when you do share a PowerPoint, this is going to open the PowerPoint presentation, and it gives your viewers the ability to move through that presentation. They call it private viewing. So as an attendee, you can move forward or back through that PowerPoint presentation without disrupting the presenter's flow. The rest of the participants will only see what the presenter is showing. They won't see that you've gone back, maybe to take a screen cap of a chart or maybe to copy some information that you might have missed. Okay, now that can be disabled if you are the presenter. You do have the option to remove that. You will see, I thought I hit present here. Let's do that again. Okay, if I want to disable that option, I have this little eyeball here that's going to disable the ability for people to move forward and back. Okay, but as the presenter, I have the ability to display. Now, the last item that you can display is a whiteboard. Now, this again, once this whiteboard is displayed, others have the ability to come on in here and add content. So maybe we want to get some ideas going. Now, I don't have my touch screen, so I'm doing this with my mouse. Ooh, not so bad. Okay, so what we can do is we can draw out our ideas. And we can brainstorm. And again, once this meeting is concluded, people can continue to add content to this whiteboard and access this whiteboard. You can export this image if you'd like. It will open up in the Microsoft app in the browser version here. Okay, so you do have that option. I'll show you what you can do with that in just a second, but let's jump back into our meeting space. So, I do have the option here. Now, normally this is a drop-down menu. If there is more than a couple of us in here, I have the option to leave this space, or If this was a drop down, it would have the option to end this meeting. If you choose to leave a meeting, you're removing yourself from that meeting space, but the participants will continue the meeting in that same virtual meeting space. That means that you can leave the meeting. Let's say you had another call come in that you needed to take. You were there for a few minutes and you needed to jump back in to catch the end of this meeting. You are able to come in and out of that meeting space. If you are the organizer and you end that meeting, that's going to close the virtual meeting space for all the participants. Okay. Now, again, for that option to be available, you do have to be the host, which is why it's not available for me here right now. I think it's attached to my other credential there. Okay. But if they do end that space, then they won't be able to get back into it if the meeting has ended. And don't forget, if you did want to access that attendance report, that's usually available here. There's 3 ellipses that you can click. It's going to create an Excel spreadsheet that will show you when people have joined and left that meeting space. Okay. If you wanted to pull that, please make sure that you are accessing that prior to closing out the meeting space completely. Once that meeting space, when you hit end meeting and it is closed, you will not be able to access that information. Okay. Your IT team can try to do it for you. It is quite a process. So to make everyone's life easier in the IT team, let's grab that report prior to hitting leave. So as we saw, once the meeting is concluded, we can access all of those items from the chat view here. Okay, if this is a standard meeting, or we can access it from the channel if it's a channel meeting. If you needed to, you could also have an ad hoc meeting with this Meet Now button. When you select Meet Now, it's going to open up that meeting space. And I'm going to be the only person in this meeting space for now, but I'll be able to open up the participant pane and begin to dial people in. Okay, so you can see that's where the attendance list would be. Okay, and I can start to dial people in. So I can dial Anthony in, I can see it's calling him. Okay, and once he answers, it'll bring him right into this space. If you do download your attendance report, it is going to go into the downloads. And as I mentioned earlier, it is going to open up. Oh, Anthony got in right before I pulled that report. He snuck in. Good job. Okay. And this allows me to visualize the data and access all of the features and functions of Microsoft Excel. So you can see that the new Teams meeting experience is something to be excited about. Now, if you did, I hope you asked some questions of Anthony. If you have any more questions, just going to pull up our contacts here. Okay. And if you needed any assistance, we do have the contact information for both WWWorks, which is Wade Wepler, and Competitive Computing Consultants. I want to thank everyone for taking time, and again, apologize for those technical issues that we had, but I hope you learned something new and enjoy your day.